Today we're going to learn the second part of 2.1. Now we are applying the properties. Okay, so we're applying our knowledge of the properties, what we just reviewed, commutative, associative, identity, and inverse. We're reviewing or applying those rules to some actual problems. All right, so let's look at example 1. You need to write this in your notes. Okay, it says you buy a portable CD player for $48, rechargeable batteries with charger for $25, and a CD case for $12. Find the cost. We are not using our calculators on this section, so we are going to use the number properties to make it a little easier to solve. So what property says that I can add them in any order? What did I say? Nope. Commutative. So what two numbers would I want to add together first? Wyatt?
17 and 13.
No, in the very first one. I heard it. 48 and 12. Very good. So 48 plus 12 plus 25. Underneath, you need to, and your homework is going to ask you to justify the property that you used. Just tell me that you used commutative property. Okay? Commutative property, and then solve. And you get $85. All right? So to justify means to tell me what property you used to give yourself a shortcut. Remember, we said that number properties give us shortcuts. So what shortcut could we use on B? Amelia? Yeah, associative. So how could we group them?
You can put 17 and 13.
Very good. 17 and 13. And then 36. 17 plus 13 is 30 plus 36. I can do this easily, mental math, to get 66. And then somewhere next to or underneath, I need to say that I use the associative property. Associative property. Okay, now what about C? What about C? What two numbers would I want to add first? Mason?
3.4 and 9.7.
No.
7.6.
7.6, because that gives me an even number. Then I add the 9 and 7/10 to get 21 and 7/10. Or is it 20? So 10 plus 9... No, 11 plus 9, 20 and 7/10. Okay? All right, and again, what property did I use? Justify it? Commutative. Okay? So I'm looking for two things on your homework. I'm looking for you to tell me what property you used to justify it, and I'm looking for your boxed answer.
Do we have to do shortcuts?
Yes, you have to use shortcuts because it's asking you to justify the property or justify your steps. And that's what it's asking for. Now in example 2, I'm just using the properties of multiplication. I'm substituting and solving. So 4 times negative 7 times 25. Are there any two numbers in this expression that are easily multiplied together that I can multiply first? It would be easier to do mentally. Amelia? 4 and 25, right? And 4 times 25 is what? 100. And 100 times negative 7 is what? Negative 700. All right, so it's much easier. I can do that without a calculator, right? I don't have to use a calculator. If I just use my number properties, it makes it a lot easier. All right, now let's look at the next one. 5 times negative 6 squared times 20. All right, so what do I need to do first? Just tell me, what do I need to do first? Nope. I need to do my exponent. Very good. So now I have 5 times 36 times 20. Now I'm going to ask you the same question. Is there two numbers that I can multiply easily together? First, 5 and 20, right? What's 5 times 20? 100. And then it's a lot easier. What's 100 times 36? 3,600. Two zeros. 3,600. All right. If I had asked you in the beginning, before we broke it down, if I had said, can you solve that expression? in your head right now? No. You're like, no. And even here, 5 times 36, I don't think I could do that in my head, at least very easily. But if you use the commutative property, you can do it easily. Do you see? You see how the properties can help you, can make it easier to solve problems. Okay, so now this is probably the most important, part of the lesson. Okay? And based on what happened last hour, I think that this is a relatively new concept for you. All right, like terms and simplifying expressions. What do I mean by that? Numbers, you know numbers, right? Variables, you know variables, right? They are what? Not like terms. So whenever I'm adding and subtracting, I cannot combine numbers and variables together. You cannot add or subtract them, but you what? You can multiply and divide them. That's very important, especially when we start learning distributive property here in a few minutes. All right, so let's simplify these expressions. I just said I can't add, so I cannot add 7 plus 2x to make 9x. I can't do it. One is a number, one has a variable. They are not like terms. But are there any numbers that stand alone that I could add together? What?
7 and 3.
7 and 3. What's 7 plus 3? 10. And now, can I add 2x and 4x? Yes, to make 6x. And now, that is my simplified answer because, again, I cannot add a number and a variable together. I can multiply. This is multiplication, right? 6x. I can multiply a number and a variable, but I cannot add or subtract. All right, Kenneth, what's it going to be? 9 plus 7, 8. Very good. And that's my final answer because I don't know what A equals, and I cannot add a number and a variable together. All right, now let's look at C. Now we have some negatives, so we have to watch for the signs. Okay? Because remember what I said, every number has a sign. The sign's in front of the number. What is 16 minus 20? Negative 4. Because 20 is bigger, subtract and take. It's going to be negative 4. And what is 3b minus 6b?
Negative 3b.
Negative 3b. Get your signs right, because if you say plus 3b, it's wrong. All right? So simplifying involves two things. Combining your like terms and making sure you pay attention to those signs. Ask yourself, same sign or different, and then apply the rules. Okay? Again, not using our calculators here, so you're applying the rules. All right, so last slide for this section. In example 3, now we are using the properties to simplify these expressions. All right, so I want you to try, based on what we just learned, I want you to try A and B on your own. All right, Colin, what's going to be A?
9 plus x.
9 plus x, very good. Wesley, what's B?
14 plus m.
14 plus m, very good. Did y'all get those right? Okay, so I can't add them together, but what did I say? I can multiply them. So whenever I'm multiplying a number and a variable, I just simply multiply the numbers and I bring the variable with me. So 4 times 8 is what? 32. Y. 32y. Okay? I want you to try D now. All right, what's it going to be, Alex?
18K.
Very good, 18K. All right, now we're going to start dealing with some negatives. 4 plus x plus negative 1. Who thinks they know that one? Wyatt?
Negative 3 plus x.
Okay, close, but is 3 going to be positive or negative?
It's going to be positive.
It's going to be positive because 4 is bigger, so just x plus 3. Or if you said 3 plus x, that's fine as well. All right, now look at F. Now I have 2r times negative 5. What do you think? 2r times negative 5. Anybody think they know, Isaiah?
Negative 10R.
Perfect. Negative 10r, because how many negatives do I have? 1. 1 is an odd number. Odd number of negatives is a negative answer. All right, so what about G? What about G?
1.
Grayson? Negative 12x. You guys are doing great.
I thought 4 was bigger, so it's positive.
No. Even odd rule for multiplying and dividing. Odd number of negatives, it's a negative answer. Even number of negatives, it's a positive answer. You have different rules for multiplying and dividing. All right, and if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for part 2 of lesson 2.1.